it's nothing like you enter the fashion industry and it corrupts you. We do shows in pennies, they do shows in pounds. Everybody's replaceable, including me. We do not be in that space that, I am a model, I've arrived.
So what are the few things?
I would say the first thing would be punctuality. It's important. You see Indian models who, like, there's a model called Deepak Kumar. He doesn't fit the conventional model stereotype that you would expect. Some guys don't want their hair to be touched. Vabiz Mehta की beginnings बहुत humble थी. Vabiz Mehta ground level से शुरू हुई, अभी भी grounded ही है.
Hi, this is me, Rahul Jain, and today I do have with me the Ace Fashion Show Director of India, none other than the Vabiz Mehta, who is having more than 1.5 decades of experience when it comes to fashion. And today she was with us in Raw to Runway modeling workshop. Time है नहीं उनके पास, but she took time for this workshop and finally she is with us. बहुत ही कम टाइम है, हम उनसे बात करेंगे और बहुत डेप्थ में जानने की कोशिश करेंगे what is fashion world exactly look like from her experience. Let's talk to Vabiz Mehta.
Hello.
Hi Vabiz.
Hi Rahul.
I hope you are doing well.
Doing very well. It was a great experience conducting the workshop for Raw to Runway.
Thank you so much. Okay, straight forward to the question.
Sure.
You are having more than 1.5 decade of experience when it comes to fashion. How do you see Indian fashion and of course fashion when it comes to the West?
So, as I said even earlier, fashion is ever evolving. It's never static. The point is that it has grown so much from the time where I was, and that's the whole point of it, right? With any industry, it starts small, but when there is potential, it grows. And that's exactly what's happened with the Indian fashion industry. Indian fashion industry, from the designers to models, now they all have a global presence, which was not really seen relevantly a couple of decades back. But all eyeballs are on India in every aspect. And fashion, of course, grabs the eyeballs the most.
अच्छा, जो नए बच्चे हैं स्पेशली फ्रॉम टीयर 2 टीयर 3 सिटीज, आप उनको क्या बोलना चाहते हैं? एक मॉडल को कैसा होना चाहिए और एक मॉडल की अपनी क्या लिमिटेशंस है जिसको पुश करके वो कमर्शियली अपने आप को हिट कर सकता है बड़े ब्रांड्स के लिए, लेबल्स के लिए, डिजाइनर्स के लिए?
सो अभी द बिगेस्ट what I would say is that now the whole concept of what a typical model is has completely changed. The whole landscape has changed. जितने भी stereotypes थे, अब सारे stereotypes के बाहर हैं. पहले stereotype था particular height, color, frame. But now the more different you are, the more different looking you are, that is more interesting and engaging, not just for Indian designers, but even abroad. You see Indian models who, like, there's a model called Deepak Kumar. He's walked the runway for Louis Vuitton. He doesn't fit the conventional model stereotype that you would expect. I recently did a show for Vivienne Westwood, and we had over 500 models coming for the casting.
Wow.
Out of 500, the selection was 50. And the selections that they did, some were models who had never even walked the runway, ever. And there were some super experienced models, some supermodels who came for the audition, and they were not taken. A lot of them were taken because of how they are different looking. And I think so that's in terms of the whole approach to what kind of expectations are there. There are no expectations. The sky is the limit. You do not have to believe that because, oh, I don't fit into this category, I don't have a chance. This is the great time right now, great time and age for any model, because now the world is open to exploring different faces, different skin tones, different heights, different genders. So I think this is a great time to be in fashion.
ये आपने एक बहुत बड़ी बात बोली, बिकॉज आज भी बहुत से जो इमर्जिंग मॉडल्स हैं उनके दिमाग में सबसे पहले यही रहता है कि गुड लुक्स होने चाहिए, स्किन कलर अच्छा होना चाहिए और आप एक हीरो मटेरियल होने चाहिए फॉर अ मॉडल. एंड द वे यू एक्सप्लेन राइट नाउ, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि नाउ डेज फैशन इंडस्ट्री में उस तरीके के कन्वेंशनल मॉडल की ऐसी कोई जरूरत है नहीं है. As long as you are good enough in terms of walk, you can be
Exactly.
part of.
Exactly. Yeah, in terms of walk, in terms of body, in terms of your body language, in terms of your confidence, you really don't have to fit into a certain bracket anymore.
Yeah, nice. Okay, just give me 5 models name who really who were really part of the industry initially on a surface level, and after a while, because of their hard work and dedication, they reach such far. Any 5 models?
So I would say Prabhupada.
Hmm.
He is a model who, my God, he's like a chameleon. He just transforms himself. And I've seen Prab when he was literally starting out. In my eyes, he's a fantastic model. I would say Soni Kaur. Soni is like you've got to see her on the ramp. She's a masterclass in herself. I would say Dinah Irappa. Dinah Irappa started, I think I was one of the first people she did a show with. It was in Bangalore. She was a no one. Today she categorizes as a supermodel. There is Lakshmi Rana. My God, she, I feel, is the ultimate in terms of how to walk, how to carry a garment. Yeah, I think I've mentioned Prab, Soni, Dinah. In the new ones, there's Chandni, who's amazing. I think she has great potential. There are so many more, you know, there are really so many more. I see them with new eyes because each of them bring their own personality to the ramp. And also they convert into the ideal clothes horse and become exactly what the designer wants them to be.
Nice. The one thing always comes up, that is language, and that is English. So बहुत से लोगों को ऐसा लगता है if you are not comfortable with English, you cannot be part of this industry. Now, what do you want to say on that?
ये तो बिल्कुल गलत है, बिल्कुल गलत है. There is no requirement, there is no compulsion कि English से ही आपकी career बनेगी. बिल्कुल नहीं. It doesn't matter. As long as you understand, as long as you are able to communicate in whichever language you are comfortable with, as long as you're able to absorb instructions in whichever language you're comfortable with. There is no prerequisite that only if you are conversant or eloquent or fluent in English will you make it. Not at all. You go abroad. They don't even, there's so many fashion weeks that happen. There's a Milan Fashion Week. Everybody doesn't speak Italian. There's a Paris Fashion Week. People don't speak French. The language is not a barrier at all. What could be a barrier is if you're not able to translate yourself as a model.
Mm-hmm.
That's your body language is the only language you need to know.
All right. So when we talk about the fashion, the first thing comes in our mind, that is brands. Do you really think that the brands are totally associated with fashion? If you're not wearing branded clothes, you cannot look fashionable. What do you say on that?
That is the biggest myth. I don't wear, of course, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You are not identified with what you're wearing. You're identified with how you carry what you wear. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. You could be wearing streetwear, but the way you put it together, the way you style it, the way your body is confident in it, that's the only thing that counts. Brands don't make you. You could be wearing the most premium brand, but if you're awkward in it, if you're uncomfortable, if you don't have the right confidence to be able to carry it, it doesn't matter. Like I said, it's not what you're wearing, it's how you're wearing it.
A model should be in discipline all the time. Of course, on the runway and off the runway also. So what are the few things which you really want to suggest all the emerging models that you have to have in yourself when you really want to be part of fashion industry?
I would say the first thing would be punctuality. It's important, how you conduct yourself. I would say punctuality is very important. We don't give enough value because time is of value for everybody. And when you learn as a newcomer, and if you still don't respect the people who are far senior to you, but they are there on time, and if you cannot be there, I think it's a very personal thing, but I would say it's a big no-no for me.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, everybody is given chances, somebody, traffic, but if you're consistently unpunctual, you will not be taken, at least in my shows. I think that's a big one. discipline. To have the discipline of coming in a group way. You don't have to be wearing brands. You don't have to be flashy, but the way you conduct and the way you come to whether it's a casting or you come for a show, just have wear fresh clothes. Make sure that your demeanor is from top to bottom well put together. You are groomed. Groomed matlab you don't have to be wearing expensive perfume. Groomed is just that you basically have basic body hygiene. You've got to be mindful of those things. And then I think on a deeper level, what I would expect a model is to have presence of mind and to be able to absorb instructions and follow them. That's a big thing. To not be in that space that, I am a model, I've arrived, I don't need to,
That happens most of the time.
Right, that. And I think it's great to have confidence, and it's really not great to be overconfident. So, so I think if you especially when you're doing RAM shows, between shows, especially when you're doing fashion weeks, the turnaround time is so short, it's so limited. And if a model decides to not follow instructions or is not quick on the uptake, it's very challenging. And they will be given opportunities once or twice. But if they're not able to come through, then, like I said, everybody's replaceable, including me.
That's a big statement, guys. All right, good to know that. I wanted to ask about the runway modeling, but you indirectly anyway answered it. Like, as a model, if he's a part of any runway show, what are the few things he have to make sure that he's comfortable in and he has to take care of when he is off screen and, of course, when he's on the runway?
I think if you're talking specific to male models, I would say they have to be able and open to be able to be versatile in their looks. Like some designers want only clean shaven. Some of them want a beard. Some of them want it to be, trimmed to a particular size. If you are very rigid in that, no, this is my look and I will not adapt, which is also fine. It's a personal choice. But then you have to also be prepared that you may not be cast for that show because that casting requires a certain look. So I would say it would be nice if they're more adaptable to be able to, be versatile in their looks. If somebody is advising you that your hair is too unruly, you need it to be groomed, you need a trim, some guys don't want their hair to be touched for some reason. I don't understand. So those are the things that, if you really want to be able to make a mark, then you should also be able to readapt and be like a chameleon. So you have to be very innovative when it comes to your looks. Keep changing, keep redefining. Don't be stuck in a certain, because everybody wants to see a face in a different light. So the more versatile you are, the larger your opportunities are. For example, some models have gone bald. They did it for like a fashion week. That was creating a statement. And designers also see you with new light. They see you wearing a certain garment in a new way. So to be able to make others see you in different aspects, you yourself have to be able to repackage yourself.
That goes with female models also?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are female models who've had hair till their waist and then they've gone bob. There are female models who have been able to completely transcend their looks by just doing different kind of makeup. So you just have to be able to be versatile. And also the versatility comes across when you're on camera. How are you projecting yourself? Because at the end of the day, as a show director, I've done my job. I'm not on the runway. I have given you all the instruction, training, but once the lights come on, it's only you on that runway. How do you conduct yourself? How do you carry yourself? How do you walk? How have you adapted to the theme of the show? When all that comes together, that is the hallmark of how successful or unsuccessful you are as a model.
Oh, nice. People have seen the movie Fashion, of course. And whenever we talk about fashion, modeling, creativity, designers, runway, they get into that zone, models honge, they'll be in drugs and something like that. But they don't know there are few models who are very disciplined and working in this industry since past 20 years, 25 years. What do you say on that?
First of all, what you see, you don't have to believe everything. And it's not just specific to the fashion industry. There is drugs in every industry, whether it's in the corporate sector. You've seen movies like Wolf of Wall Street, for example, where copious amount of cocaine is consumed. I'm just saying, every industry, whether it's in the corporate, whether it's in the movie industry, you have enough of those people who do it and you have as many who don't. The same way the fashion industry is the same space. Consuming drugs is a personal choice. It's got nothing to do with your profession. But they want to typecast that, oh, if you're Bollywood, you're a certain type. Only Bollywood people, it's not just Bollywood people have affairs, right? That's rampant.
Because they are in the market and people know.
Exactly. It's a fishbowl existence. You are living in a fishbowl, all eyes are on you. When you're working in a corporate or finance, there's enough and more of that going on. But that's not in the foreground because nobody knows them. So what is in the foreground is a person who's known across all social media channels. But I can tell you that I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I'm saying there are equal number of people who do not do it. So it's nothing like you enter the fashion industry and it corrupts you. That's just a very typical myth that needs to be busted.
Okay. There's a few things which I really wanted to ask. And the very first thing comes in my mind, that is any weird experience of a runway you have had so far with model, designer, production, anyone or artist, anyone.
Just saying anyone would be really not doing justice to it. I have not had one. I have had many and many, multitudes of many. Of course, when you're doing a runway show, it's not like shooting a movie or an ad. You get to do 100 takes. You know exactly what you go to editing. It's in detail. You color correct. None of that happens in a show. A show is like a play. It's a live experience. Once it's the lights, camera, it's the ramp lights come on, it's on. Of course, there have been models who have fallen, which is human. There have been a set which has collapsed, which is human. So, models have made mistakes in choreography. We have had an outage of the power supply has gone off in the middle of a show. Lights, music, everything has come to a stop. So, of course. But those are technical glitches. There are human glitches, technical glitches, which is part of... The only thing is, it is already there to be seen because there is no retake on this. But yes, we've had a show where we had kind of created a backdrop and the model came and leaned against it and she fell.
Oh, yeah. The show was on.
The show was on. And in this show, I have to tell you, I won't take names. I don't want to embarrass anyone. But it's not her fault.
Of course.
Literally walking the ramp and the lights, there was a full... She walked right into the audience and fell.
Oh.
Yeah. Many more experiences like that. Of course, I remember at Lakme Revati, I know she won't mind if I take her name. She was walking for a show for Nachiket and her shoe broke on stage. But she is a masterclass in how to handle it. She picked herself up, picked up her shoe and walked. And the best part is that the applause that she gets, or any model who has fallen down, the audience understands it and they applaud and encourage. So even right now I did a show where one of the models, she fell down on her knees. Immediately she was up. Everybody applauded and she just kept her composure and she continued. So it's not, falling or technical glitches or whatever, that's human. But how you conduct yourself and how you're able to bounce back from it, what presence of mind you have, that is what, cuts you away from the rest.
You gave example of Revati and it shows that the presence of mind is very important. Especially when you are doing runway shows. All the rookie models, they are very nervous when we hit the runway show for the first time. What do you want to say on that? Because there are few established models who has set their boundaries and who are working in the industry since ages. So that's how something that became intimidating for rookie models. What do you say on it?
So rookie models have to remember and understand that as the models they look up to or aspire, they all started somewhere. We all started somewhere. I wasn't like a born show director. I started from literally grassroots. So every supermodel has also started as a rookie model. So they have to understand that. Of course, being nervous is part of the process. It's good to be nervous. That means you're still, you still are on edge. Even today, before a show, I have butterflies in my stomach. I'm very nervous. You could say you've done so many shows. What do you have? I have the same amount of anxiety before every show. So my advice to what you were saying to rookie models is that you are starting out, but the best place for you to learn is where you are at. Don't just use that as, oh my God, I want to become a big model. Use that experience, use that as a learning curve. Learn on the job. Everybody makes mistakes. Even supermodels make mistakes.
Okay.
It's not like now you become a supermodel, so you're flawless. None of that.
Eventually, you are a human being.
Exactly. And everybody is wired and everybody makes mistakes. But it's, like I said, again, it comes back to how do you conduct yourself, your presence of mind. And as rookie models, we are also forgiving. We understand, okay, it's your first show, it's your second show, it's your third show. But by your fourth show, if you're repeatedly and consistently doing the same mistakes or not absorbing, then I think, people don't have that much patience.
Mm-hmm.
But, and sometimes we also recognize talent. So we know that, okay, this one's new, but she has the potential. To be able to tap that potential, it only comes with experience. So we also have that understanding that the more he or she will do, the more experience they will gain. But we don't expect it to just come like out of nowhere. So yeah, that answers your question.
Of course. Last but not the least, we are in the race of comparison, Indian fashion industry and the fashion industry from the West. You have worked at the both of the place. What do you want to say on that? How was your experience? As we were talking on lunch also, you said that जितना हम काम करते हैं उतना वो लोग नहीं कर पाते हैं, right? So what do you really want to say on that?
So what I want to say, of course, they are far more advanced and evolved. But what I also want to say is that the output that we give, it all boils down to budgets. It all boils down to finance, money. Mm-hmm. The kind of output that we give in the budgets that we have. And everybody says, oh, the show, wow, look at the show abroad. Have you seen the budgets that they have? We do shows in pennies, they do shows in pounds. And the fact that we are still being able to pull off shows of international caliber.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's so many international designers coming to India? We're on the radar, we're on the map. And the fact, over here, what one person does, the manpower they have for that one person job is 5. So one person here is doing the job of 5 people. So that is something that we need to pat ourselves on our back. And I think the kind of output that we're giving with shows is very commendable. And like I said, it all boils down, if we have that kind of budgets, we can also outperform anybody. And I can say that with assurance.
ये क्वेश्चन एक्चुअली मुझे सबसे पहले पूछना चाहिए था, बट मैं जाते जाते आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ, हु इज वाबिज मेहता? कहाँ से वाबिज मेहता की जर्नी स्टार्ट हुई? वाबिज मेहता अभी क्या कर रही है और वाबिज मेहता आगे क्या करना चाहती है और फैशन इंडस्ट्री में जो अब तक एक्सप्लोर नहीं हुआ है?
ओह माय गॉड, वाबिज मेहता की बिगिनिंग्स बहुत हम्बल थी, अभी भी हम्बल ही है. वाबिज मेहता ग्राउंड लेवल से शुरू हुई, अभी भी ग्राउंडेड ही है, वो मैं बता सकती हूँ आपको. मेरी जर्नी शुरू हुई एक बैकस्टेज ड्रेसर से मैं बैकस्टेज असिस्टेंट हुई, बैकस्टेज असिस्टेंट से मैं बैकस्टेज मैनेजर हुई. काम करते करते दिखाते दिखाते मैं शो डायरेक्टर बन गई. शो डायरेक्टर बनते हुए उन्होंने मेरा काम देखा तो इंटरनेशनल शो डायरेक्टर बन गई. और अभी भी बहुत सारा, when you feel you've arrived is the day it's all done. So I still feel I have so much more to aspire for, so much more to, do, gain, and things that I want to, I want to further my brand and extend all my learnings, experiences to everyone. So there's a beautiful finishing school in the making, grooming school, where we don't just teach you about what it is to be a model, We also teach you what it's about to be a human being.
That's great thing. All right, thank you so much, Vabis, for your
My
valuable
pleasure.
time. It means a lot. And as I said, she doesn't have time, but she took time for this podcast. And of course, Raw to Runway modeling workshop. We really want कि Vabis फिर से दोबारा आए इसी तरीके के वर्कशॉप में और जो आने वाले मॉडल्स हैं उनको भी बताएं कि एग्जैक्ट फैशन इंडस्ट्री क्या है. Thank you so much, guys. Stay tuned with us. It's me, Rahul Jain from Raw to Runway.